What's going on, guys? This is Eagz, and in today's video, we're going to be VOD reviewing an Emerald Diamond NA Players game. This is Goose. Shout out to Goose for letting me do this. Thank you, Goose, in the comments, by the way, boys and girls. And yeah, by the way, guys, if you're enjoying these type of videos, please let me know by leaving a like down below. You can leave a comment as well if you feel like it. It does help the videos out, and it encourages me to keep making them, so thank you to everyone who does that. And by the way, this session is on Patreon as well. I've probably done up to like 50 to 100 sessions in the last like month or so. It's been kind of crazy. So yeah, join the club, I guess. And yeah, in this game right here, we're going to continue from this point here where Goose ends up killing his nemesis, the Yi. So when he kills the Yi here, just a bit of like kind of context, I guess. Goose has 1100 gold almost. That's a Warhammer. And at this point in the game, he's in a nice position to 1v9. But we have to make sure that the next 2 to 3 minutes, the near future, is precise and good in order to do that. So how do we actually like assess this kind of situation? Well, let's look at the time and the map. Both junglers in this game, by the way, started red buff. And Goose as well cleared his Krugs and Raptors somewhat recently. So they're not going to spawn soon enough in a way to go Krugs red Raptors into maybe some like recall and somewhere else. I don't want to give it away, but what would you guys hear just looking at the map? So if I play this out so you don't have the pings, hopefully, in this situation here, so red buff is up, and that's about it, bot side. Right now, how many of you would go straight to dragon here? How many of you would do red buff? How many of you would do red buff and run here? How many of you would do red buff and recall and run to Rift Herald? So if you were going to do the last one, and by the way, guys, like when I ask these questions, it's really useful for you, I think, if you pause the video and try to figure out what's going on, even before I say it. So every time you see me pause it, maybe think, what would I do? Even when you see mid lane here fighting, what would I do? Would I run mid? Would I stop doing red buff here? Try to think about what you would do in these situations. So Goose is going to end up recalling here and putting a ward down on Dragon. I don't really think he has to do this because I think he's overreacting to this play mid. He's never going to kill anyone. Lux is it's kind of pointless, and he's sitting on gold, right? But he's going to make the right call in the end. He's going to recall here, and then he's going to end up running to Rift Herald because Rift Herald is way more important, guys, than First Dragon. And because in this game, like, we're in a good position, I don't want to give up Rift Herald for free. So let's just say that I thought Master Yi was maybe, I don't know, if I saw him doing Dragon, I can just hit Rift Herald on spawn. Lots of people think, though, like I just say, right, always do Rift Herald here no matter what. I don't. I say to think about getting there, and if the enemy, you know, like jungler is other side of the map, or if someone dies near here, like the enemy top or mid or whatever, we can instantly do Rift Herald and pressure this. Now, Goose is going to end up doing this here straight away, which I think may be like a little bit risky, but we saw the Pantheon in mid lane end up basing after shoving this wave. We just saw him. So Goose can actually just run here and start this straight away, and also top lane kind of has priority at the moment. So we can actually do this, and even if Yi comes here, we don't really mind too much, right? Because we should win with this advantage. So this is a great Rift Herald from Goose. Now, what happens after this, guys, in the next like 2 to 3 minutes, Goose ends up losing this game, okay? And I'm going to show you why and how we can like kind of prevent this loss. Going top here is whatever. Maybe he can like protect the Camille and he ends up like getting out against the E. Maybe he should have got out a little bit earlier. But what I want to show you is after this too. So I just wanted to show you the Rift Herald play. And also down here, Goose makes a smart play. He should know that Yi sees him without his blue buff. So Yi is naturally just going to run down and see what the Graves' his camp situation looks like. Goose knows, though, that Yi can do this. So he's leaving his blue buff, which is correct, right? Very smart. Goose is going to end up going to walls here, doing walls, and he ends up picking up a kill because he's kiting away from the enemy champions. Here comes Builder Beer Burger coming in on Pantheon with Larry the Lobster. Look at these names, bro. Anyway, Goose here is going to play this mechanically well. He's going to play patient and try to combo his Q with his ultimate, I'm pretty sure, and he's going to end up picking up 1 kill, and then I think Yi dies at the end of this as well. He ends up surviving, and then he kills Thresh on top of this. Again, I don't want to focus too much on mechanics. Now, this right here, I have been coaching even people in Grandmaster to really learn. If you can understand this, this is what's going to separate challengers from everyone else. This situation right here, right, I want you guys to look at this picture, and I want you guys to consider the gold and everything here, all the information, all the details, to try to deduce what you would do. So the options pretty much are as follows. Well, you've also always got so many, but let's be honest here. You've got maybe farming crap. You've got thinking about the Yi's top side because he's just died. Yeah. But we know he had a red buff, right, during this fight. We saw him with a red buff ganking Camille. So maybe there's every opportunity, unless we've really camp tracked well, you know, both of these are gone. So it might be a little bit too adventurous going in here. Presumptuous. Going to Crab, yeah, and then coming back to Gromp, looks fine. Doing Gromp looks fine, and then going back to Crab. What do you guys think the best move is? I've given you a few there. For those of you who said none of them, well done. The best move here is to do Gromp into a base. Now, I want you to pause the video and try to figure out why that might be the case. And it's not because I'm just like showing you the gold here. I want you to think about gold, of course. It's really about something else here. And it has to do with items, of course. So Goose here has a Duskblade, right? And he's going to have maybe 2 extra longswords, maybe even steel caps after Gromp. In fact, he would, because he'd had 700 left over right now if he based, or close to. Doing Gromp gives you, like, what, like 120? So he's going to have 1,800. That is easily enough for steel caps. The point I'm making here, guys, is that doing Gromp into a base is so important, because at this point in the game, even though it's 9 minutes and might feel a little bit later, right? Champions are not dead for that long. What I'm going to talk to you here about is tempo. And I don't care like what people have tried to like describe tempo as in the past. I'm going to tell you what it actually is here. I think people like just get this wrong, and I've had so many students recently like bring it up and they don't understand it. It's not their fault, but they kind of like their understanding of it, let me put it this way, has been influenced by people maybe on YouTube or other creators, like whatever it is, telling them the wrong idea for whatever reasons. So I'm going to tell you what it is here. Look at the right of the screen for me. Look at the enemy champions. Master Yi is dead for 8 seconds. Now, Graves' recall here has Rift Herald, right? So it's 4-second recall. If he was to recall right now, he is 4 seconds ahead of Yi at a base. That means if Graves is here, Yi is here. That means when Graves is here, Yi is here. We are doing Gromp here because it's so close to us and it's got some levels into it. So why not just clear this quickly and then insta-base with Rift Herald, and then, because we would have finished Gromp probably even by now, even this movement coming, you know, going down to Crab and back up is a bit of a waste of time. And even though we would be behind the Yi here in terms of tempo, so basically, tempo is the time at which you will hit the middle of the map compared to your opponent, your direct opponent. Now, of course, there are tempos for every matchup. AD carries, supports out of base. Who's going to get to mid lane first at level 3 after their first base? That's what tempo is. So in this game, I said to Goose, look, bro, if you do Gromp here straight away and recall with your Rift Herald, and you buy a Duskblade and Steel Caps, because they're all AD pretty much, well, they are, we can insta-run bot with our Duskblade, potentially contest Dragon, kill the Aphelios and Thresh if they've, like, you know, pushed up at that point. We can protect our bot camps from the Yi. And the game, I tell you what, you are going to have opportunities when you think like this. So I'm just going to let this play out for you to show you what Goose ends up doing, which isn't bad, by the way. This is not bad. You're still getting good golden experience, and he ends up recalling after this. But you can see already that every enemy champion is on the map. And if I press F2 here, look where Yi is. Yi is 20 seconds ahead of us, instead of being maybe 8 or 10. And we would be able to contest Dragon, protect our Raptors. Maybe Yi gets greedy and goes for our Krugs. Let me play this out. Goose ends up running bot. Raptors are here. Krugs are here. But Dragon is gone. Pantheon dies mid. Maybe he kills mid lane. Maybe he ambushes the Thresh here over the wall. There are going to be so many opportunities, guys, when you think about the game like this. After this all happens, I don't really care about Goose's mechanics here. We're going to try to focus on, again, in the next couple of like seconds or whatever, or minute or so, how to win this game. Okay, so he's going to end up killing the Yi again here. Mechanics are good. And the Jax almost dies after this, and he's going to drop Rift Herald top because it's going to run out. So a little bit of commentating here from me, but it's not the main idea here. Everything Goose does here is good, and again, I don't think it's that important. I think it's quite easy to do. Now, this is a bit of an overstay from Camille, and even Goose here probably shouldn't be here, but he ends up escaping, right? Now, this is exactly the same situation, right, as what we just looked at. So I want you to think about what I just said the best move was before he killed the enemy champions around here. And I want you to try to apply it and almost see it in this situation. So look at the map. If I press O and X, look at the gold. So he's not going to get a major item here, right? If he farms anything else topside, like Crab, Gromp, or just Gromp or something, he's not going to get any big major item. So doing these camps is kind of redundant in a way because you're still buying the same stuff. Now, in this game, the enemy champions know that Graves just drop Rift Herald top and gank Jax as well, and he's just ran out, right? So what do you think the enemy champions are going to be thinking here? Well, Larry the Lobster on Yi, because he does it in this game, is going to be thinking about Graves' bot side. This is a 10-second trek. And then after we finish Crab, if we go to Gromp, that's another, like, what, maybe 5 seconds? If we finish Crab around this area, we come through at least 5 seconds, actually. And during the Gromp, might take another 10. And you're going to see this. So look at the time for me, 12:30. So I said to Goose here, so hopefully you've picked up here, that I want him to recall here. Recall in the brush right away. So 12:34, he would be pressing B, right? Let's just say 12:35 to make it a little bit easier for us in terms of tracking. So 12:35, Goose is going to recall. 12:43, he's running out of base. And it might take him about, let's just say 15 seconds maybe to get to red buff, 20 seconds to get here now because of his E and movement speed. I think he gets out of base because of the changes. Anyway, 12:35, keep that in mind. He ends up going to Crab and doing it, pushes it towards Gromp, very good. I have skipped this already, 25 seconds. So recall is 8 seconds, 17 seconds running out of base, he's here. Now bot lane here ends up dying, unfortunate. But Goose, remember, would be close to this. So in another game, he might be able to kill the Aphelios, who might even be worth a bounty, which he is. This is why tempo is so important, guys, and that's what it is. So we're going to let this play out. He ends up recalling. And let's see if his bot side is up. Krug's gone. Red buff gone. But yeah, don't be shit, bye.